U.S. aircraft carriers, once seen as untouchable in international waters, are now facing a new kind of challenge. China has built a layered defensive bubble around its seas that leverages long-range missiles, advanced submarines, and drone networks to deny access to intruding fleets. In effect, the era of guaranteed naval dominance may be fading. Today, we'll unpack the three pillars of this strategy: missiles, subs, and drones, and examine how they reshape what sea power means in the Pacific. At the outer edge of China's maritime buffer lies a formidable missile layer designed to keep large surface formations at a distance. Two missiles stand out: the DF-21D, often described as a pioneering anti-ship ballistic missile, and the DF-26, which extends reach still further. The DF-21D is estimated to reach over 2,000 kilometers in conventional mode, offering China a chance to target moving naval groups far from its coast. The DF-26, sometimes called a multi-role missile, is assessed to span 3,000 to 4,000 kilometers in its longest configurations. These systems are not deployed in isolation. They form a strike umbrella that overlaps with advanced anti-ship cruise missiles like the YJ series. Recent hypersonic models, such as YJ-19, use scramjet propulsion to sustain very high speeds mid-flight. Estimates suggest velocities of Mach 10 or more. The YJ-19 is also reported to be capable of course correction during flight, making targeting tougher to defeat. The layered missile curtain functions on both volume and redundancy. If a surface force enters the DF-21D envelope, multiple missiles can be queued, synced via command and control networks. Meanwhile, the DF-26 can target either ships or land supporting assets, making it a hybrid deterrent. The YJ series fills gaps at shorter ranges or in scenarios demanding agility and mid-course maneuvering. One of the most critical challenges for any intruding navy is the kill chain, the sequence from detection to targeting, launch, guidance, and interception. China invests in sensors such as satellites, over-the-horizon radars, and drones to feed continuous location updates to missile systems. The missile then adjusts during flight, aiming to intercept moving targets in a high-speed terminal phase. Interception is made harder by the missile's ability to maneuver and the tight windows in which defense systems can respond. For fleets like the U.S. Navy's carrier strike groups, this means staying outside defined risk zones or operating with degraded effectiveness. The farther from shore you are, the weaker the aircraft's range and logistics support become. The missile umbrella thus forces strategic recalibration: either allocate more defenses, accept greater risk, or relinquish presence closer to contested areas. Beyond the missile layer lies a seldom seen but critical dimension. China's newer submarines are designed to operate in stealth, evade detection, and complement missile systems by introducing ambiguity and a layered threat. The Type 093B nuclear-powered attack submarine is part of this shift. While earlier classes had limited acoustic signatures, upgrades in machinery, hull design, and sound-dampening materials aim to reduce detectability. Its role is to patrol within the missile envelope, ready to strike or surveil undetected. The Type 096, projected to enter service in the coming years, is expected to further the stealth gap with even quieter operation and enhanced missile capacity. One of the more potent features of undersea platforms is ballistic missile launch capability. The Type 096 may be configured to carry submarine-launched ballistic or cruise missiles, enabling second strike or surprise contributions to the larger defensive bubble. This cross-domain integration is significant. Subs can feed real-time targeting data or launch missiles where surface systems cannot reach. From a strategic perspective, these boats act as mobile interceptors in the third dimension. A surface fleet within the missile envelope must also consider the possibility of subs emerging from unexpected depths. Anti-submarine warfare becomes more difficult when silence is improved and acoustic signatures are masked. Advanced Chinese sonar systems, unmanned underwater vehicles, and even AI-based noise analysis play a support role in narrowing detection gaps. Furthermore, submarines serve as force multipliers and deterrents. Even if missiles and drones dominate attention, adversaries must allocate sensors, escort vessels, and aircraft to guard against subs. That division of resources drains capacity and adds strategic complexity. In confrontational scenarios, subs can shadow or track key units, relay targeting data, or pose threats that shift operational patterns. Another factor is submarine-launched cruise missiles, SLCMs. These missiles can strike surface or coastal targets from stealth, making them powerful complements to land-based missile systems. Their flexibility forces opposing forces to maintain vigilance over underwater approaches, diverting focus from surface-only threats. For the broader narrative, the undersea layer enhances China's posture by adding uncertainty below the waves. Together with missiles and drones, subs contribute a three-dimensional grid of deterrence, not just a barrier on the surface, but one beneath it. The result is a more resilient system. If one layer is suppressed, others may still disrupt or degrade an incursion. The drone layer is the newest, and in many ways the most rapidly evolving, component of China's maritime architecture. These autonomous or remotely piloted systems amplify coverage, provide real-time targeting, and impose a cost-effective presence that challenges heavier platforms. Central to this layer is the notion of drone motherships, surface vessels or support ships designed to house, launch, and coordinate fleets of unmanned aerial systems or unmanned surface/subsurface vehicles. Such ships act as mobile hubs, extending the reach of drones deep into contested waters without relying exclusively on fixed bases. From there, swarming drones come into play. These are small, networked units capable of simultaneous tasks: reconnaissance, electronic interference, decoy operations, and precision strikes. Because each unit is relatively low-cost and expendable, an adversary must counter large numbers, which stresses their resources. Sophisticated AI coordination allows drones to dynamically adjust flight paths, share sensor data, and focus their activity zones in real time. A notable weakness in traditional naval defenses is reaction time. Missile interceptors or point defense systems have limited salvo capacity and require targeting priorities. A well-designed swarm can saturate defenses, forcing split-second decisions and potentially bypassing weaker points. Some drones may act as decoys or jammers to help others slip through. China is also experimenting with loitering munitions, drones that circle an area waiting for high-value targets to enter, then dive or intercept. These munitions, paired with forward surveillance drones or satellites, feed continuous updates. The drones can persist where manned aircraft might struggle due to fuel or threat exposure. Another growth area is unmanned surface and underwater drones, which can trail or flank manned vessels, relay target information, or even carry small payloads. Their stealth and autonomous control make them useful for intrusion detection, perimeter monitoring, or direct engagement in layered defense. On the defensive side, U.S. and allied navies are exploring laser-based counter-drone systems, electromagnetic jammers, and rapid-fire interceptors. But these methods require power, thermal management, replenishment, and precision tracking. In contrast, swarms of drones shift the burden, defending against volume rather than a few threats. What the drone layer brings is persistent presence and flexibility. Even when missile nodes are suppressed or submarines are forced to hide, drones can maintain surveillance, reconstitute targeting data, and create diversions. They fill gaps, focus pressure, and force adversaries to defend across all horizons. China's strategy of integrating missiles, submarines, and drones has transformed its coastline into one of the most secure maritime zones on Earth. Instead of relying on size or confrontation, this defensive bubble leverages precision, stealth, and automation to deter intrusion and redefine sea control. It signals a new chapter in naval strategy, one where technology, not tonnage, dictates dominance. The question now is whether other powers can adapt fast enough to operate within this evolving reality.